Hello, my name is Karen Smith, the Playwright. And if you want to know more about the Episcopal Actors Guild, just watch this video. When did I first fall in love with theater, and why did I have to be part of the theater world? I think they kind of go together because I was such a shy child and constantly looking to understand my identity, being the last of eight. What what could break my shyness as well as tell my story. I found myself making up things as I guess children do when they're playing, and then sort of like these stories would come out where the action, if I had action figures, or I would get my friends together, and I would convince them to, let's do, this is the idea, and we're gonna do this story. And one time we even recorded one of them too, but it was about this detective of some kind. I don't remember the name of the story itself. So I think it was more a part of my playtime, as well as it eventually became something that I felt serious about, because I felt it also helped break my shyness. And the interest of live theaters pretty much started early too, because I saw um, in my elementary school, in order to be in any plays, you had to be in the Glee Club. So the Glee Club at the end of the year always put on some kind of show. And one of the first shows I saw live presented by the Glee Club was The Wizard of Oz. Because I'm 60 now, so that was a popular thing back then. And then every year they would do something else. I think they did The King and I as well. And so I just said, I have to get in that Glee Club, and I have to break my shyness, and I want to be a part of it, because I just felt it helped bring out, like I said, my inner spirit, and something that I found that kind of fit me. I felt really comfortable with it. So I would say that kind of sums up. And from I did get by the way, I did get into the Glee Club, and I did become a part of the last play before I left that school, which was Fiddler on the Roof. I always loved to write, just really like short stories, and I really loved to draw too. And the drawing piece didn't go as far, because when I auditioned for a high school that was very popular, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, so the high school that was popular at that time was Erasmus Hall, and that was considered like a big performance. That's like Juilliard at that time, and so I thought I was going to be this artist, this visual artist, and they didn't like my work. My scores were okay, but my academics was okay, but my work didn't obviously get me past the door in that department. So I still continue to focus on the writing part. I kind of threw away the sketchboard, and just kind of focused more on the writing. Even one of my aunts had said that she said I had excellent penmanship, and she liked my story. She's like, you got really good stories in you. But I didn't think of playwriting until much later, when I, as a focused on acting in my early 20s, and I didn't find the parts that fit me, or I found the parts that I was given and I didn't like them, and I didn't like the stereotyping of it all. So I said, I think I should write what I want to see, and that's pretty much how the writing came in. So I started writing for a fundraiser at the church that I was attending at the time, and then it took off from there. Why is playwriting such a unique piece of art? Well, I feel like, one, it's the soul of it all. You can't have a production without having a writer involved in some shape or form, whether it's screenwriting or playwriting or radio show, whatever. Writers, we are the kind of the meat and potatoes of it all. So I feel that that's kind of the traction one, because we get to tell our stories, whatever they may be, and bring everything together. Make that magic on stage, or on film, or radio, or wherever it may be. The writing process from ideas to finishing the play. I think I get the ideas from people. I get some of the ideas are definitely of my personal experience. But I get ideas from just listening to other people. I also spent some time as a in the social service field, so I heard a lot of stories too, with people addicted to drug and alcohol, and people with mental challenges, etc. So I have a few of my own challenges, and I kind of combine their stories. I don't tell the truth as far as who I'm talking about, but I combine a lot of stories together. Even in my own family, if I write a family piece, I don't particularly focus on one person. I focus on kind of a collage of people and put them in that, maybe that one person or three people, or how many characters are in the show. But I use a lot of real stories that I heard or experienced. So I would say that I love being around people. That's how I get inspired, not just from sitting at home and sitting at the computer. That's boring. I even like to write outside, even if I take a pad and pencil. But laptops are in right now. But that's where I started from, is composition notebook, is writing, journaling. Some of the things are in my journal that I come up with ideas. In my sleep, sometimes I write stuff down when I wake up. It's like, oh, that would be a great story. But I need to be around the people to get it authentic. If it's not directed to me, I need to surround myself around the people. So I do a lot of research in that way. Just listening. I listen to a lot of people. I listen to conversations. I'm not trying to be nosy, but I'm trying to develop something. And I'm like, yeah, that person would talk like that, or that person would think like that, or that person would walk like that, or she would wear that, or he would stand like that. I want it all. I don't want to just kind of make it up. I really want to see in order for it to be real. How did I hear about the Episcopal Actors Guild and why I want to be a part of it? I'm so glad to be a part of it. A friend of mine who I've known for 1,000 years, Alvin Alexis, he had said during this shift as we have been in, early part of the shift, that this organization was looking for playwrights, and they were looking for some shorts. And he asked me, did I have any? And I'm like, yeah, I have, I have some. Even one I was just recently developing. And he said, well, send it to Omar, and he's a person to reach out to. I'm going to send you his information and see what he thinks. I'm like, okay. And I kind of didn't think about it again, because that happens all the time where you send stuff and nothing happens, or because I'm pretty busy as a percussionist too. I'm a playwright as well as a percussionist. So I'm always working on something, even with other people. But he really responded back pretty fast, and that's how I became a part of it. Back in August, I did a small plate series that they did, and in fact, one of the plays that's in this next one is from that trilogy that I wrote called The Suitcase. It's three different plays of different. One is really like a full one act, and the other ones are very short one acts. So that's how I got involved with them. The first thing I did with them was this past August. I needed to write this play because this is my personal story, most of it anyway. It's pretty autobiographical. I worked on the 52nd floor in New York, and I was temping at this job that I didn't really like, and I was very heavily into a depression, and I just felt like, and at that time I also was still in theater, and I felt like it wasn't happening right, and I just was really low, and so I decided to say, goodbye to life in one aspect. Is just not worth it. And in that particular building at that time, there was no windows guards like they have now. And it just, every time I would go to the bathroom, I would look out this window, and you could open the window, and I would look down, and it's like, I could, this could happen to me. I could just kind of fall out and nobody would even know for a while. And then I would say that more than once. And I think I mentioned it to a friend of mine, and she had said, she had recommended counseling, that you should really think about getting into counseling. At first, I was like, I don't need counseling, or that doesn't work, or whatever. And I thank her to this day, because that really helped at least move that particular time away. And I always wanted to write that story. It just stuck in my mind that, from knowing other people have taken their life, who've been successful at taking their life. and others who have struggled with life and, have had many challenges with suicide, including myself. After that, I still had issues with wanting to take my life as well. But I always felt like, something shifted that moment, and I really wanted people to know that it is a moment, even if it feels like years. It really is a moment if you could just get past that moment. And there's a Yoruba expression that says, "What um, don't give up 10 minutes before the miracle happens," and that's kind of in there too. And so that's why I wrote this particular piece, because I really wanted to talk about my struggles as well as many others, and it is only a moment if you can just get past that moment. It's stressing in it about getting past that moment. That inner voice, if you could just listen to it, because you're never alone in your struggles. You're never alone, and there's always someone else going through the same or even worse. The story arc is a woman contemplating her life. She's in this this isolated bathroom, and she's in her moment, and in that moment, which I felt possibly for me myself too, but in that moment, that particular voice comes to her that helps her through this getting through this moment. The conversation of the future almost kind of talks to her and get her to realize that, you know there's things that she will miss if she stops right here. All these wonderful actors who are also friends of mine. I'm glad for friends because, and they are actors as well as performers. Anthony and Marcella Cooper, they're helping me out with this particular project. Anthony they're both originally from New York as well, and they live here in Philadelphia. And it's been an honor to know them and to include them on this project, as well as we work together on other things too. And they're both vocally trained as well. So they do a good job with, even as a husband-wife team, to present this particular piece, because Marcy is actually playing somebody in their 20s, and she's definitely not. So she does a good job with that. And Anthony is the voice that she hears to get her back on track.
What do you want the audience to get out of this play?
The importance of staying self-determined, and it really is. Life is very stressful. It's supposed to be. It's full of challenges. It's supposed to be. That's how you know you're alive and kicking. And you're never alone. And there is truth that to not give up 10 minutes before the miracle happens, because we all play a role in something. We all have, touched someone else's life, or 2 or 10. And the importance, to see your importance here on earth, and why you're here, to understand the importance of why you're here. Each one teach one, kind of thing. What am I looking forward to for the whole Black Voices event? I guess one, to again, to be a part of the Episcopal Actors Guild and their the presentations that they do. I think it's very important to even stress there is the importance of hearing from the Black voice in our stories. But I feel our stories are so much the same. I don't feel that there really is that much difference. Yet I'm the one that might be experiencing it, but I see so many similarities as well. So I'm glad to be a part of it and be able to tell this story. And to I think one thing for sure in my story in particular, that as a Black person and female, I feel that suicide is not talked about enough, or talked about pretty much at all. So I feel that it is very much alive, and it's very much a part of the Black community. So I feel that needs to be stressed. That's why I'm glad it was picked. Why must the viewers watch the Black Voices event? I feel like it kind of says it on itself. It's important to hear the stories of Black voices, and just the fact that we do have stories to tell, and the stories can be are extremely empowering, and others need to hear, as well as other, and Black people need to hear our voices as much as possible, presented, our stories told in every kind of platform. Why do we need to hear more voices in the theater world? I feel that because there's so many voices, I think that kind of answers this question. Because there's so many voices and so many stories and so many ways of presenting um, the others' experiences, I think that by itself is important. So I think all voices are needed to be shared, not the same voice or one person writing about all these different voices, but as many people as possible sharing their stories and of all cultures across the board. So Black voices are extra loud this year with as we change into a new administration, as well as from all the movements that in this past year. It's like it's almost like we're finally being heard, kind of thing. It's like our voices are important. We are important in this economy, and we're important in this world. We're important in the community. We're important to each other. Black Lives Matter should matter to Black lives, which is my stressor too at times. You know, because we are taking each other's life as well. So it's important to know that we have a legacy, and we have a voice, and it needs to be heard in a constructive way, by the way. Why the Episcopal Actors Guild is so important, and why should we support them more? I think basically because it's the platforms that they are giving to all, and I think it's not even a platform where they want you to present a certain way. It's a freedom to it. I love so far my experience with it, and I love the diversity that they stress, and it's important to keep actors working, as well as when things like this particular crisis happen, that there's funding for actors, performers, etc., to to be able to sustain themselves during situations like this. So they do that and then some, and I think that's important. It's all about, to me, sharing is caring, and for abundance to happen, it is about sharing, and I think they do that very well. People should support it. Come see it. Tune in on Thursday, November 19th, between 7 and 8. I'm looking forward to hearing the others as well. I haven't heard the other playwrights, so I'm looking forward to, and I don't know them from the list that's on there, so I'm looking forward to hearing them as well. I'd love the one thing about virtual is that you can be anywhere and present your work and participate. That's one thing I do like about the virtuals. My name is Karen Smith. I'm a playwright originally from New York, and just encourage you to go to Episcopal Actors Guild website and come see the Black Voices on November 19th. I think you'll really enjoy it. I'm looking forward to it.